How's it going, everyone? Hopefully you're doing well. Today we're going to be reviewing the STB-1, and yeah, this is probably the best tech tree tank that you can get at the moment. Um, well, at least the best tech tree medium tank that you can get at the moment. There's no other real competition for it. I mean, the UDES, sure, you might be able to get some competition out of this, but at the same time, it doesn't have the DPM, it doesn't have the reload time that this tank has. Like, it's a very, very competitive tank, this STB-1. Obviously, it's not going to beat a 907. You're just not going to do that. This does have more DPM than a 907. However, it doesn't have the troll armor like the 907 does. So the 907 is still like the king of medium tanks at tier 10. But yeah, let's just get straight into the stats of this tank and not waste any more time and compare them to some other tanks. Okay, so here we have the STB-1, the UDES, and the Centurion Action 10. I picked the Centurion Action 10 just to literally throw in another tank. It's not really too dissimilar from the STB-1, but at the same time, it's really not anything compared to the STB-1. This is probably the closest that you're going to get to this tank. And like, just look at the difference between these two. It's insane. Straight away, you'll see DPM is 3000 base. Penetration wise, you're looking at 258, which is more than enough for most of the time for the enemies that you'll see. However, if it's not enough, then you do have 330 heats on this thing, and combine that with a reload time of 7 seconds base. You can easily get this thing down to 5.6 without any bonded equipment, as long as you're using food. And if you are not using food, then you'll get it to about 5.8, nearly 6 seconds, depending on what equipment you're choosing. So yeah, like 5.6 seconds for 330 heat. Yeah, that's for 360 alpha as well. And you might think, 360 alpha is not that good, but if you're firing every five something seconds, 5.5 seconds, yeah, that's going to really, really add up very fast. If you do have full bonded equipment and food, and you stick the bounty, or not bounty, the directive for the rammer on this tank, you get it down to 5.2. To put that into perspective, if you do that, you're on the same reload time as a 140 that has like full bonded equipment and like a fire extinguisher on it. So yeah, this thing can get mental DPM, well over 4k. If you're fully bonded out and got food on the tank. It's very, very competitive tank. You do not want to sit in front of this tank for very long, because if it tracks you, you're going to be perma-tracked because it's got the slow reload, the fast reload, and he'll just keep you there. So yeah, 440 alpha on the UDES, but you know, you're getting a considerable amount more reload time for that. And 390 on the Centurion Action 10. Again, considerable amount more reload time for that. 105 caliber does mean that it's going to struggle with an STRV frontally, so you're going to have a little bit of issues with that. Whereas the UDES will not really have too many issues because it's got 120. Again, it's the same situation with the Centurion. You work out how to deal with UDES, STRVs. Because obviously you need 120 or above to reliably go through that and overmatch it. Shell velocity is fine. You're not going to get APCR standard, unfortunately. It is only AP, but it's fast enough for AP. It's nowhere near, you know, the Centurion's AP, but APCR, but it's more than enough. Ammo 50, it's fine. Yeah, aim time and everything else, as you can see. Yeah, everything else is basically worse. Elevation and depression, it says 8 here. You can get this all the way down to -14 since it does have the hydrodynamic suspension, where basically if you're going slower than, I think it's 20 kilometers an hour, you'll be able to use this. It'll go from 8 to 14. So you'll be able to go and use -14 degrees of gun depression, and it makes your turret ridiculously hard to pen. If you are hold down in this tank and at a ridiculous angle of dispersion, you're going to do quite well in this tank. Yeah, bloom and everything else, nothing to worry about. Honestly, like, The gun stats for this tank are very, very good. Mobility wise, it's fine. I mean, terrain resistance isn't so good. However, it does get decent enough forwards and backwards speeds. It's got good engine power. The power to weight is much better than anything else, like the UDES and the Centurion. And we all know that the Centurion isn't really a slow tank. So yeah, 25 power to weight, it helps it out a lot, especially to try and mitigate any terrain resistance that you might have, any issues there. But yeah, turret traverse and everything else, tank traverse and everything else is just better than the others, albeit not by much, but it's better. And you do notice that when you go over and try and turn the tank over terrain, whatever, and when you're on slopes especially, you can easily get up and down the slope because of the power to weight. Armor wise, this is where you might think, well, the Centurion Action 10 is just better. No, it's not. Centurion Action 10, as probably most of you know, has basically no armor. You can maybe sometimes get some troll shots that will bounce, but apart from that, no. Health wise, it has the most health. I will go and show you the Armour Model in a second and compare it to the Centurion Action 10. But we'll just go and skip through the other stats first. Health wise, yep, it's got the most health. It's got 50 more than the others. It's not really going to make any difference, but there you go. And yeah, the view range of this tank is 400. It's not as good as the Centurion Action 10, and it's better than the UDES. So yeah, that's about it for the stats of this tank. As you can see, it's pretty good. Also, the fire chance on this tank is 12%. I forgot to say this. 12%, for some reason, that extra 2% makes it get set on fire ridiculously easy. It doesn't have a lot of armor, which is another factor why it would probably get set on fire a lot. Especially the side armor, you can't side scrape against anything. It won't work. You just do not try and side scrape in this tank. It just doesn't work. So yeah, let's go and look at the Armour Model quickly. Okay, so the Armour Model of the STB-1. Here is the Armour Model of the Centurion Action 10. As I said, I'll quickly show you this. It's got kind of, you can pen it pretty much everywhere, and as soon as you load heat, yeah, you just go straight through it. So yeah, the Centurion Action 10 is not more well armored than the STB-1. So yeah, we'll just get rid of that. So the STB-1, it's an interesting tank because you can and can't pen it depending on the rounds that you're using. So the simplest way that I'm going to put this is if you're using AP, you try and either go for this bit here, this here, or here, or the cupola. If you're trying to pen it with just standard AP, that doesn't have a lot of pen, so anything that's got like 260 or something like that. There's no point aiming for the turret, and there's no point trying to go for the hull armor. However, if you have heat, and you want to press the 2 key, you can go either try and go pen here, or failing that, which I recommend everyone to do, just go and pen the hull armor. No matter what angle this thing is at, it will just go through. Because heat does not care about the angle of impact. Yeah, you want to pen this thing? Load heat, straight through the hull armor. Easiest way to pen it. And if you're using something like, well, quickly I'll just show you. If you're trying to side scrape in this tank, as long as it's AP, you don't have an issue. And it's lower than 120, you don't have an issue. You can kind of side scrape, but just don't, because like as soon as they load heat, you just go straight through it. And also, if they have a bigger caliber than you, such as, let's say an E6, which is 120, AP, it doesn't matter what angle you are at, it's going to go through you. Side scraping in this tank does not work. Do not do it. It's not worth it at all. There's really no point in side scraping. And yeah, heat, just go straight through it. Yeah. Another thing that I want to mention is if you're using high pen with APCR, so let's take the Chieftain for example, you can go straight through the middle here, and it's like a 50-50 whether you pen it or not. So yeah, heat does not work with this gun mantlet. So never ever fire heat directly at this bit here, because it doesn't work. And then if I go to heat for this tank, for example, no, it's not going to work. So yeah, if you look at the live, fire that, it just doesn't work. There's no point firing heat at this gun mantlet. So yeah, that's pretty much everything sorted out with the STB-1. Let's now go and have a look at a game. It is a pre-recorded game, or pre-done game. It's not going to be live. But I've been hunting for the mastery in this tank for a while, and I finally got it. So we're going to go and show you that game. Doesn't have any really, ridge lines to go and use. And it's a full tier 10 game. There's only one arty, there's only one light tank, which is like the preferred matchmaking kind of for this tank. Or just for any tank, let's be honest. So yeah, straight away, I want to try and get as much done as possible. This EBR, I'm not sure. I really don't know what his plan was there. I want to try and get some shots on anyone that is over here. However, I know that I've just been spotted and they're going to know that I'm here. So we're just going to be peeking this slowly to try and get some shots. I don't want to overcommit to anything, especially the fact that there could be a lot of tanks there in a second, because you see there's a 50B, there's a 30B, and there's a 277 and an E5. So yeah, there could be a lot of tanks down on this corner where I'm looking right now. That shot's just ridiculous. I still don't know how it went exactly where I aimed it. But you can actually overmatch the 277 from there. From its hull armor, because you're above it. So yeah, that's there you go. If you're above a 277, just go and pen it there. It's nice and easy. Yeah. Right now I'm thinking, well, I can't really push up. I'm just watching this IS4 push this EBR way too far, so that he has now an angle where the 277 can actually pen him. I mean, let's be honest, it's an IS4. Pretty much everywhere you can pen it. But yeah, right now I'm thinking, no, there's no point of actually going to do that. I noticed a 50B's crossing. We're going to try and take him out. We put one into him. Just look how fast we're reloading. And we're already reloaded. And bearing in mind, this is with a gun rammer, Bond gun rammer. And I'm not using food on this tank. We're going to... I mean, I'm always switching between not having food and then having food, and then, like full gold rounds and then not full gold rounds because I'm cheap. But yeah, this was during one of the kind of stages of, we're just going to use AP and a fire extinguisher, which is probably relatively similar for most people in this game. Like, this is what majority of people are going to be using. Not everyone's going to be firing full gold, and Progetto just comes through here. I have no idea what this Progetto's plan is, but we can just keep peeking him. There is nothing he can really do. We unfortunately missed there, but he's come forwards way too far, and I wait until he over angles his tank to try and retreat it back around that corner, and then we take him out. Progetto hull armor is pretty troll. If you're firing AP or APCR at the Progetto's hull, it's probably going to bounce. Right now I'm asking the WZ if he can spot the FV, because if he can, then I will be able to get some shots on him, and he might not spot me. Chances are that the FV will spot me, and then I could just get one shot here. But the WZ doesn't want to listen, or just doesn't have chat on, I don't know. But yeah, so we're just going to have to be patient here for a while. There's no point trying to push anywhere, because it's just not going to work. A lot of 1.0 maps, if you push, you lose. And I have no idea what just happened with the textures there, but there you go. It's around about this moment that I also realise we are losing the north of this map quite badly. So I want to try and get around. I'm going to take the longer route because I don't want to get spotted by the FV if he's pushed up enough to be able to spot me. And then I was thinking, oh, we can just go straight for them. And then I notice, no, there's a nice hold down spot here. And this tank hold down, beautiful. As you've seen by the models of this tank. We're just going to wait. We just be patient. There should be no one that comes behind us, because if they come behind us, then they're in a death trap of all these tanks that are behind me. I was going to say we do track him, because I remember that he does get tracked, but it was by someone else. And unfortunately, we bounce off the hull armor of a bat chat. Yep. But we're going to put another one into him before he can even repair his tracks. Just to put that into perspective, we put 2 shots into him in the time that it took him to repair his tracks. And as you can see, this tank is just ridiculous at trying to track people and just keeping them there. Still, we haven't fired any premium rounds. So 250 is enough. I mean, we haven't been firing at anything super heavily armoured. And as you can see, I do hold 14, which is enough to take out a super heavy. Or 2, depending on how much health they actually have. But we're up to 4,000 damage now. We're going to continue. I noticed that we've killed pretty much everyone. I'm like 90% sure that the STRV is probably... If he's not in the middle still, then he's trying to flank me. So that's why I go here, trying to look if the STRV's there, but I can't see him. There's also a Gorilla there for some reason. We're going to put one into E5. And we're going to... Well, we're going to play a nice, fun game. It's called My Reload Time versus an autoloader. So yeah, we just keep putting one into him over and over again, hiding in between the shots. We can easily out-trade him every single time, no matter what he does. We will out-trade him, and yeah, his last shell doesn't even... I think that's just the tracking bug, so... yeah, he just got a critical hit on my tank, because it went low and splashed, or whatever. But yeah, we're trying to go for the cupola. I mean, we could just load heat right now and just go straight through him. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. We're up to 5.8 now, and I'm worried about the STRV and the Gorilla 15. But the Gorilla 15 gets spotted, and I think, okay, well, I don't see why the STRV would come around here, but he might. And then the STRV gets spotted as well. So yeah. I'm not really too sure what's going on there. That shell goes high, unfortunately. There's nothing we can really do about that. Yeah, this is like... I get a bit unlucky here with the shells. Again, side of the turret of the E5. It's a bit unlucky. Now all that remains is the artillery left. But yeah, this replay kind of shows you everything that's good about this tank. When they were coming around here, we single-handedly killed 2-3 tanks, nearly. I mean, sure, like the... I don't even know what shot it. FV 4005, I guess, shot it. And we put one more into him to get nearly 6.2k. So yeah, hopefully that demonstrated to you what the STB-1 can actually do. And just how good this tank really is. Yeah, if you did enjoy this video, then you know what to do, and yeah, I'll see you all in a bit.